to lie on our backs. If you want a cushion here, you can take a cushion for beneath your head or whatever suits. Just arrive, just allow your body to gently arrive on the floor. If you're on a mat, just allow your body to almost sort of sink into the mat, like you just arrive and let go. You can have your knees bent if you want to, or just gently take up a little bit of space in the body, feet as wide as your mat, maybe even wider, arms as wide, coming to this Shavasana pose, this corpse pose. There will be moments this evening, so don't feel like possibly the sound isn't working. You'll probably still hear the click of the ticking of the clock. But I'll be giving us lots of space and silence during the postures this evening, just so you can really tune into yourself. So as you arrive here, just notice. You can notice the sounds, the feeling of the environment that you're in, the temperature of the air on your skin, and then notice the body prints that you are making in this moment. Becoming aware of the areas of the body that are in contact with the ground, trying to find ways to soften. And if you're anything like me, I tend to really hold quite a lot in my face, sort of in my eyes. My eyes always feel like they're quite active all the time. So just see if you can soften through the face, softening through the shoulders. Just allowing that natural breath just to come in and out through your body. The intention to release the tension that we are carrying. Maybe that we haven't been aware of this tension until we lie down and just pause. Using the breath to soften here. You may already notice that your breathing has started to slow, that it's slowed down and possibly lengthening slightly, so you're really starting to bring that breath in towards the belly. Really tuning in. I almost imagine that when we're tuning into ourselves, it's like we're leaning in towards ourselves, maybe leaning in for that sweet, tender kiss. And you can imagine that you are just giving yourself a little bit of self-love here, really enjoying this moment, knowing that you deserve to be here in this relaxing posture. Just taking a couple more breaths here. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. 2 more. This last one, choose whether you breathe out through the mouth or the nose, entirely up to you, but take that full breath in. And that full breath out. If your legs are bent, just bring them back out nice and long. If your feet are wide, just bring them in so they're in line with the hips. And slowly on an inhale, just take your arms all the way above your head. You can keep your eyes closed, or if you want to, you can start to open through the eyes. It's entirely up to you. But as you arrive here in this full body stretch, just breathing into both sides of the body. On an inhale, maybe just lengthening, not forcing anything, maybe pointing through the toes, reaching through the arms. Exhale, soften. Nice, slow, deep breaths here. 4 more, breathing in. Breathing out. 3 more in your own rhythm. Inhale, take that length. And as you exhale, keep the arms where they are, just bending the knees now, bringing the feet to the floor, but allow your feet to be as wide as your mat. Take up space, you can adjust through your back, through your pelvis if you need to. And then with the arms, either bring the arms down so you start to bend through the elbows, keeping the arms sort of in this cactus shape, or you can have the arms out in a T shape. So the palms on the floor, arms out straight. It's entirely up to you, or you can bring them on your belly. So you decide what's working for you in your arms this evening. Chin slightly touched just for a moment. And we're simply just going to allow the knees to fall to one side. So for me, I'm going to go to the right side. Allow the knees to fall that way, really starting to stretch into the left side of the body. And as you arrive here, turning your gaze towards the opposite direction. So the knees are coming to the right, the gaze is coming towards the left. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths. So we arrive here, first of all, normally still holding, okay, holding through the legs in this posture. I want you to use that exhale to find ways to soften through the hips, through the thighs, really allowing your body to sink down. Using the breath to expand you naturally. Using the exhales to soften even more. Three more breaths here. One more wherever you are. Exhale fully. I really noticed that I was holding in my right hip then, so consciously had to use that exhale. On your next inhale, just bringing your knees back up through center and allowing them to move to the opposite direction on an exhale. And your gaze to go towards the right side if your knees are over towards the left. So whichever direction your knees are, your head gently turns to the opposite direction. And again, focus on softening on that exhale, using the inhale to lengthen, to expand. Exhale to release. 4 more breaths here. Really focus on those breaths. So when we hold these poses for longer, the mind can start to wander. So just bring it back to the breath, keeping it in this moment. Last one here. Really soften. Inhale, just allow those knees to come back up to center. Just briefly stretch one leg out, stretch the other. Coming back into a Shavasana, just for 3 breaths. Just notice how that feels. Notice the lower back here. Just pausing, pressing that reset button. Full belly breath. Inhale, bringing your feet to the floor, bending the knees. And on an exhale, just bringing the knees in towards the chest. Wrapping your hands around the knees. You can either just squeeze the knees in towards the chest, holding onto the shins or the back of the thighs. You can take movement here if you want, or maybe just find some stillness. Start to gently open your eyes here if they're not, just bringing yourself back into the room. One more breath here as you inhale. Exhale, pull those knees in just a little bit closer. Inhale, allow the knees to go away just a little bit, bringing your hands behind the thighs. And we're going to rock and roll up here. So just gently, you can get a little bit of movement depending on how much movement you need here. You don't have to do many if you just want to do 1 or 2, just to bring you all the way up, coming to a seated position. From here, keeping the feet out in front of you. So we did this the other day. As you arrive here, allow yourself to have some space through the feet. Bring your hands behind you, a bit like if you were sort of lying on the beach or something, watching the waves roll in. You can just be here. Hands can be fingertips facing away or towards you. Just decide what works in your shoulders. And then we're simply going to move the legs to one side. Pause here. Notice if you're really lifting through that top hip, can you ground down, keeping the hips rooted so that we're not coming all the way up. It might be that your knees don't come all the way to the floor. We want to try and keep our bottoms almost glued to the floor. Take a breath here. And then allowing the legs to move back through center and go to the other side. Just stretching through, find some ease in the shoulders. You don't have to really open up through the chest here unless that feels good. You can soften through the shoulders, soften through the neck. Full breath. So we're really inviting that breath. The whole session is about that awareness of the breath, as it should be through all yoga practice, but this really allows us to really tune in this evening. Coming back through center. This time we're just going to gently rock the knees from side to side, just like a windscreen wiper, which we haven't had recently with hardly any rain at all. It's a blessing, not so much a blessing for the garden, but I will take it as it is. So just get that movement in, knees left to right, and then slowly coming back through center, bringing yourself back up If you've moved forward off your mat, which tends to happen, just bring yourself back on and then come into a comfortable seat. So you can come into Sukhasana with the legs crossed. If you want to take half lotus, if this is in your practice, then do. And we're just going to start to take some circles here with the body. So just swaying left to right first of all. Notice how that feels. I'm so tight in my hips, in the top glute, especially on the right side. At the moment, probably from cycling with the children, haven't done that for a while, so it's definitely made me tap into different muscles that perhaps I wasn't using or not using in that way. And then start to take these sways forward. So you start to come forward and back. You can round through the spine if you want to, or you can just simply find some movement here that works for you. Don't feel like you have to have big circles. They might be slow and small. Maybe you start to lean in a little bit further, inviting the shoulders. Feel free to close the eyes to really feel this in the body. A few more breaths here. Really enjoy this time just to move slowly, stretching through the fascia of the body. And then keeping that direction, we're just going to spiral it back. If you've taken larger circles, bringing them back small and coming back through center. If you're in half lotus, switch. So bringing the other foot on top. If you're in cross-legged, Sukhasana pose, easy pose, just switch the legs over so you're going to the other side. And then we're going to take the circles the other way. So just allow yourself to move through the same rhythm. However, it might feel very different on this side. So especially if you're in a half lotus, this can feel very different in the leg that's crossed over. Start to get a real stretch into the hips, into the glutes. That full breath. You can allow your head to be really soft and loose here, just allowing it to move in any direction it needs to. And then again, we're going to start to spiral it back. I'm going to try and not get too zenned out myself here and then end up falling asleep. But this feels really nice. And then coming back through center. From here, we're going to come into either a mermaid pose. Okay, so we're either going to bring one leg in towards the center. So for me, I've got my left foot in. I'm then going to bend my right leg and come to this position. So both feet are sort of on the right side here. If this is too much, you can bring your left leg under and just stack the legs so you're in this position. Okay, or again, because hopefully you've got some pillows or things, you can prop things up. So if you're here and it just feels too much in the hips, you can put something under the left leg, under this right glute, just so that you can sort of find a pose that works for you where you can just settle in. From here, roll the shoulders back. If you need more space in that leg, take more space. Exhale fully. We are going to lean over to the direction of the feet. So my right hand is coming down to the right side. I'm tenting the fingers, so not necessarily palm down. Maybe I'll come there in a moment. Inhale, reach that left arm up. Exhale, just start to stretch over towards the right side. Again, take up more space. Notice what's going on in that hip there. If you're feeling it in this knee, either take that foot out further or start to flex through that right foot just to bring awareness there, dropping that right shoulder down, really stretching in. Full breath. Imagine you're taking that breath all the way from that left hip, all the way up the side, into the armpit area, all the way up through the whole of that left side. Exhale, release. Left hand comes down now, and just send that right hand up over to the other side. Feel free, if you want to, you can lift up through the hips here. If you feel like you want a bit more, so the knees are on the floor, the feet are on the floor, you're just reaching, lifting the hips off, or you can keep the hips down and just be here. Stretching into that right side. Try and relax with that breath. Inhale, exhale, bringing it back through center. Bringing the feet back out in front. We're just going to switch now. So left knee is bent, coming behind me. Right foot in towards the groin area. Don't feel like you have to have it too far in, depending on how your knees are. You can flex through the feet. So find a position on this side. It might not be the same position you had on the other side, because each side can be very different. If you feel like you need support, take that support. Again, you can always take the mermaid pose with both knees on top of each other. Inhale, roll those shoulders up and back. Inhale, take that right arm up, all the way up above the head. Take that length and then start to lean over. Left hand comes down to the floor, stretching into this side. So you should start to feel it in this right hip. And then breathing all the way from the, feeling it in the left hip and breathing all the way from the right hip, all the way up to the armpit into the fingertips. Your head here, just allow it to be wherever's comfortable. So if that's just totally relaxed, maybe you look up towards the right hand. It's entirely up to you. Try and take this left shoulder back a little bit though, so you've got a bit more space. One more breath here. And on your next inhale, coming back up. Planting right hand down to the right side. Inhale, take the left arm up. Exhale, folding over here. Again, you can stay here, or maybe you decide to lift those hips, almost like you're pushing your hips forward, stretching through this left hip now, taking left arm over. Again, decide what's going on in the head. You can really relax the head here if you want to. It's entirely up to you. Maybe you gaze up towards that left hand. One more breath. Exhale, release wherever you are, and just gently bringing both knees round. We're going to come over onto all fours. So come into an all fours position. Feel free to take up more space this evening, so don't worry too much about hands necessarily or wrists being underneath the shoulders. If you want to take them wider, then do. Maybe the knees are wider. We're going to go through 5 cat-cows, really moving and syncing with the breath. Again, feel free to close your eyes here if you want to. So coming to this neutral position, find softness in the body. So softness through the arms. Inhale, dropping the tummy, gaze comes forward. Exhale, rounding through. Really feel that nuance through the spine as you stretch. Moving with your breath. Inhale into our cow and using your exhale into your cat. 3 more. I've lost count, so just do one more here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Coming back to that neutral spine on that in-breath. Gently just bringing navel towards spine. Curl those toes under. And we're going to keep our knees bent. We're going to come into down dog. Really slowly, mindfully. Inhale, lift those hips. Feel free to keep the hands wide. Maybe the feet go a little bit wider this evening. And you can keep those knees bent as well. So we're really feeling this in. This is our only downward dog this evening. So enjoy it. Find strength. Find that breath. If you want to straighten the legs and start to pedal through here, you can. Getting a really nice stretch in the body. Remembering that this is your practice. Your chance to lean into what your body is needing, what it's asking for. And then from here, I want you to find stillness if you haven't already. Have soft knees. Allow that head to release between the upper arms. And then bending the knees. Looking forward, you're gently going to make your way up. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to come all the way to the top of the mat. Maybe you just come halfway, allowing your hands to come down towards the floor. So that means you have to really bend your knees, allowing yourself to do that. Take a full breath here. On an inhale, just lift through the toes. Look at your toes. And then see if you can plant the little pinky toe down, the next toe, all the way down to the big toe. It takes practice. It's quite hard to isolate the toes, but with practice, it's amazing how that comes. And then slowly from here, bringing your hands to your heart. We're going to inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips down a little bit. And on your next inhale, you're going to just power all the way up through those legs, coming all the way up to standing. So take a moment here. You can release the hands down. You can get some movement in for your neck. So if you come up and you're feeling a little bit dizzy, just gently move your head to one side, really slowly, mindfully. And then moving the head back through center and then to the other side. Full breath, back through center. From here, just shake out the hands, release the feet. You can shift the weight a little bit from left to right. From here, we're just going to bring our arms up to shoulder height. So just out in front of you. Just going to do a little bit of work into the hands, so a little bit of wrist health. So from here, on an inhale, I want you to flip the palms up. Okay, so they're facing away from you, really stretching through the wrists, through the forearms. Exhale, you're going to flip the wrists down. Try not to lock through those knees. Inhale, flipping the hands up. Exhale, flipping the hands down. So try and relax through the shoulders. 3 more with the breath. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Just get some circles with those wrists. You can bend the elbows here. You can bring the elbows down a bit, drop through the shoulders. Just get some circles in through the wrist one way and the other. And then flick through the fingers. So you're like, almost like you're shaking the fingers off, and then clench your fist. Shake again, clench your fist. Flick those fingers away. Clench the fist. One more flick. And clench and release. Shake off the arms. Take a full breath. Exhale, soften. From here, you're just going to gently, a bit like we did in yesterday's practice, we're just going to start to shift the weight from side to side, but we're just going to come to a one-legged Tadasana. So shifting the weight over to the left side, just peel the right foot off, lifting that knee as high as you can, and then exhale, bringing that foot down. Really feel the planting of that foot. The heel comes down, the toe mounts, then the toes. On your next inhale, lifting the left knee. And the same thing, really feel that connection. Move really slowly as you connect the heel and the toe man and the rest of the foot. And again to the other side. Release. Just noticing what's going on. It's amazing how I can feel this quite a lot in my right side. As I've said before, that calf injury, it's amazing how this whole right side of my body, or from hip down, has been really affected by it, actually. By not being able to move like I was. So it's really good to tune in. Just keep that going. One more on each side. And then the next time the right foot is planted, shift the weight to the right side, and we're going to come into our tree pose. So decide, you will have done this with me before, decide where you want this left leg to be placed on your right. Decide as you start to move into it, shifting that weight, maybe taking a more restorative pose this evening, maybe your foot's just resting on the floor. If you want to bring that left foot all the way up, bring it up towards the groin, and then bring in your hands to your heart. Find a focus. Soften this all the way through the hips. Allow everything to soften down that root. Imagine you've just got this gentle pull back on your shoulders. Showing yourself some loving kindness. Exhale, release. Bringing this over to the other side now, so shift that weight. Decide where you want to take your tree pose. Arrive there. Again, find a focus, something to gaze upon. And then really allow your body to soften. So sometimes in tree pose we have this everything zipping up. And it's hard, it's a balancing pose. But what might happen if we choose to just soften here? To just invite that breath. To not think about it, but just to feel it in the body. Inhale again. Exhale, release. Planting the feet on the floor. Now allowing yourself to take a wider stance. So you can come as wide as is comfortable. Okay, feet are facing forwards, parallel to each other. Have that connection through the floor. Roll those shoulders back and interlace the hands behind your back. Start to pull the hands down just a little bit with the next in-breath to open up through your chest. And on an exhale, soft knees, just start to fold yourself all the way forwards. As you do, maybe those hands lift up above the head. On your next exhale, release the hands, allow them to come to the floor. If they don't come to the floor, you can rest them on your shins, maybe bend your knees a little bit more. If having your hands on the floor feels really good, sometimes it's nice to just straighten the arms and have a little bit of length and then relax through the head. Or maybe you grab hold of the opposite elbow with the hand and you just allow yourself to dangle here. Okay, you try and soften through the knees, try and soften through the head, just allowing Just a little bit of space and time. Try and find areas to soften. Notice if you're rolling in on the feet. Can you find that awareness of the outer edge of your feet? Are you leaning back? Are you leaning forward? Can you find that middle transition? I quite often lean back, relaxing through the head. One more breath here. Full belly breath. Exhale, release. Bringing the hands to the floor. Heel toe the feet in. We are coming into Malasana, which is a squat. And if the yogic squat doesn't feel good in your body, you can come down to a comfortable seat. So I'll just show you briefly. You can come down and bring your feet together like this, and just using that root to settle into ground. Or bringing your feet together, hip width apart. For me, my toes have to shine out towards left to right. Maybe you can do it with the feet forward. On an exhale, just really soften. Maybe you can come all the way down. Maybe you keep the hands placed on the floor in front of you and you're here. Maybe you bring your hands to your heart. Wherever you are, we are going to take 5 breaths. So breathing in, maybe close your eyes. Really find a way that you can soften here. On that out breath, imagine that your tailbone is almost lengthening, rooting down towards the ground. Closing your eyes, really settling in. Where else can you soften? One more breath. Breathe in. Breathing out. On an exhale, bring your hands behind you. Very carefully send one leg out in front first, and then the other. If you are in cobbler's pose, coming into bringing your legs out straight, and just settle in here. So you can just bring your hands on your legs, or again, you can just bring your hands behind you and close your eyes. Full breath. Just relaxing, just resting, allowing the legs to just restore. And then if you have some cushions to hand, you might want them now. Okay, we're just going to bring our legs a little bit wider. I'll bring mine in just so I can show you. It's really nice. So having a little bit of height in front of you, you can even bring a blanket on top to really start to bring the earth up towards you. Bringing the toes, flexing the toes, not too firm. Okay, you can have bent knees here as well if you want to. But just arriving in this position, we're going to come into folding forwards here. So roll the shoulders back. And then exhale. If you've got some height in front of you, you can just start to walk your hands either side. And maybe your head can come down to the floor, to your cushion, to your support. Maybe you turn your head to one side. If you want to, you can even bring your hands to rest on top and just snuggle in here. Try and find a way to soften into those legs. Taking some full breaths. I'll try to not fall asleep here. Again, with each exhale, soften. Start to soften through the feet, which then allows your hips, your thighs, everything to soften. Full breath. We're going to take 3 more breaths here in this pose. For some of you, this can be a really hard pose to try and relax into, depending on how tight you are in your hips and your legs. Really use that breath. It's there, it's free. On your next inhale, just slowly start to waken through the arms, bringing yourself all the way back up. Move your cushion out of the way, just to one side for a moment, bringing your feet back out in front, bringing your hands behind you and just leaning back a little bit. You can shake the feet off, take a full breath, using that exhale to soften. From here, coming back up, right foot now is going to come in towards the thigh or the outside of the knee. You decide here, and again, you can bring your support back in. They can rest on top of this left leg. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Move any fleshy parts out of the way that you need. And your support here can be on your leg, or it can be on the floor in front of you. So decide what works for you. I always like to sort of fold over the legs, but sometimes folding forwards is nice too. So just find a position. Take that leg for the inhale, and as you exhale, just folding forwards. We're not in this pose as long as we were the other one, so just find a way to soften. If you don't want the cushions, if you don't want the support, you don't need to have them. Just relax in. Invite that breath. With each exhale, almost imagine that your body is just softening and stretching, almost like you're melting away that tension in areas. One more breath here. Inhale, coming back up. Moving that cushion to the other side just briefly. This right knee now we're going to bring it up. Either bring your right foot to the ground or cross it over the left. Bring the right hand behind you. Inhale, take that length. Exhale, gently twist towards the right side. So you can use this elbow to sort of push into that right knee just a little bit, just to allow you to open up through the chest, or maybe just hold on to that knee and take a bit more of a softer twist here. Again, finding the breath. You can find movement in the neck here, sometimes moving back to center and stretching down, chin to chest while your body's in that stretch. It's a really nice stretch for the right side of the neck. Inhale, coming back up. Release. Right foot's going to go out now, left foot's going to come in. Again, bring your props in if you want them. Placing either on that right leg or on the floor. Inhale, take that length. Exhale, just fold yourself over. You can take a couple of stretches here. Maybe you can even reach your foot here, and it's your body that's supported, your head that's supported by the cushions. And you might be here. If that's causing too much tension, just release the foot and hold on to wherever is comfortable, wherever you can relax. Get a little zened out. Full belly breath. It's so precious, this time that we give ourselves. Give ourselves the time to pause and to show ourselves a little bit of love and kindness. One more breath here. Inhale, walk yourself back up, moving your supports out the way. Left foot now either on one side of the leg or cross it over. Open up through the chest. You can be active through that straight leg if you want to. Left hand comes behind you. Inhale, take the right hand up. Exhale, left or right elbow comes in and open up towards the left side. Again, you can just hug the knee here. One more breath. On your next inhale, bringing it back through center. From here, we're going to come to lie down on our front now, okay, on our bellies. So just get yourself comfortable. You can bring a cushion if you want to, or a blanket. From here, I just want you to arrive. We've done this pose before, okay, so it's a bit like I would say like a half frog pose. So from here, you can bring your hands to just rest under your forehead. So my hands are on top of each other, and you can rest your forehead down. I want you to bring your legs towards each other. So your thighs are touching. And then from here, I want you to bend your left knee and bring it all the way up. So you're sliding it out towards the left on the floor, so it becomes at a right angle. So just you can have as much space as you want. And you can keep your head here if you want to, or feel free to copy with the left arm what your left leg is doing. So bending here, bringing the right ear to the ground. And you can be here, maybe the right arm comes long down by your side. You decide. I'm just going to take a couple of breaths here. Slowly bringing it back. So feel free to lift your head a little bit if you need to bring that left leg back. Bring it close to the right, so almost like you're zipping the legs up together. And then we're going on to the other side. So just bringing the right knee up now at hip height. Maybe if you had your right ear on the ground, you decide to have your left. You can do whatever you want with your arms. So whatever is comfortable. Just take that position so you can rest. Maybe it feels better for you to have your head in the center, resting on your forehead. You decide. One more breath here. And then start to bring yourself back through. You can either just roll over, or you can flip yourself up and then come to lie down on your back. So we're coming to lie down, and straight away as we arrive here, bring the soles of the feet to touch. And just allow the knees fall apart. Your hands can be rested on your belly, maybe on your ribs. You can have one hand on your heart, one on your belly, or maybe you take up a little bit more space here. So decide where you're comfortable. We're not here for long. Just taking 4 breaths. On your next inhale, just gently bringing your knees together. See if you want to use a pillow here, you can, or a rolled up blanket. We're going to bring this underneath our lower back. So a little bit supported here, just make sure you're comfortable. Resting, so not so much on the lower back actually, it tends to be sort of on the sacrum. Okay, so just below the lower back. And from here, you're going to lift one knee in towards your chest and the other, and then send the feet up towards the ceiling. So if you have a wall, you can do this against the wall. If you need to adjust, like me, you need to adjust it slightly. And then just send your feet up towards the ceiling. So as I said, if you have a wall, you can put your legs up the wall. Your hands can be wherever. We're just flipping the legs the other way. So good for the nervous system. That relaxation response. Close your eyes. See if you can have the legs as straight as possible without causing any tension. And your feet can be pointed or the toes towards you, entirely up to you. A couple more breaths here. Become the observer of your body. So really noticing what's going on. Having the support under the lower back on the sacrum. It's very different to just having the hips on the floor. This is like an inversion. Starting to lift the hips up slightly. One more breath. On an exhale, bend one knee, slowly bringing it to the ground. Great stretch here with the other leg up towards the ceiling. And then bring the other leg to the ground. Using your feet just to lift your hips. Slight bridge so you can pull out your support. And then coming down, lowering the back. If you want to, you can bring the knees in towards your chest. And then allow your feet to come to the floor. Out nice and long. We're coming to our Shavasana relaxation. So if you want to keep the knees bent, do. If you want to, give yourself a pillow and a blanket, then do. Settle in. So just getting yourself a little bit more comfortable, taking care of yourself. Really enjoy the next few minutes to just be here. As you arrive, notice if you're holding anywhere. If anywhere needs to soften. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Find a way to relax. Going through your own body scan if you want to. If you feel like that's needed, sometimes it is, to just allow each part of the body to soften, almost like it's absorbing into this pose, into the ground. Or maybe you just bring your awareness to your breath. And we'll stop talking now for a few minutes, just allowing yourself to be here. Start to deepen your breath, taking 5 conscious, loving breaths in and out through your body. Feel free to stay here where you are if you want to. Want to come back up to seated, just start to get some movement in through the body. Rolling over onto one side. Just pause there. Again, noticing how you feel now. Hopefully you're feeling soft and relaxed and calm, de-stressed. And then gently, if you haven't already, bringing yourself up into a comfortable seat. Bringing our hands to rest at our heart. So I am going to finish today's practice with 3 ohms. So if you want to join in, feel free. So we take a full breath in through the nose, and as we exhale, we make that sound. Relaxing through the shoulders. Breathing in. bowing our head to our heart. From me to you, namaste.